Hello?
Hey, how you doing? This is Jonathan.
Hey, Jonathan. This is Tommy Bryson. The call will be recorded and potentially uploaded. Cool.
Yes, I was returning a call. Who you with again?
Tommy Bryson from YouTube. How can I help?
No, you called me, so I was just giving a call back.
You set up a call with me to talk about different ways to make money.
Oh, Tommy. I'm sorry. Okay, I had to think about it again. Yes, Tommy.
Yeah. How
Yes,
can I
sir.
help?
I was just calling to see how different ways of making money and just to pick your brain really.
Okay. So, what situation are you in right now? How much money do you make? And how do you make it?
Okay, well, currently I'm just doing Grubhub and DoorDash at the moment. Because I
Okay.
do real estate, but like the markets where my clients are getting beat out by investors by 20,000 over asking price, and we're in there using cash offers at that. So I had to scramble around now just to try to grab some money. And
Well, the,
currently
the,
my
the true thing about real estate is a lot of the times, investors, whenever they're actually buying, they buy a lot of the times based on facts. Usually, it's the individual people that are able to actually offer beyond that because an investor usually just sees, for example, the value. If the numbers don't fit, more than often, they're just not going to buy. Does that make
right,
sense? So, for
that
example, if
makes
I'm an
sense.
investor, I'm gonna buy, for example, a three-family home, maybe let's say like a single-family home, and it's to invest money. I want to get a cap rate of 8%, 15%. If the numbers don't make any sense, I'm just not gonna buy it. But when you have regular Joe and Susan that want to have kids, they're able to actually offer more money because they like the house and so on. So I'm saying that to kind
Mhm.
of like, because whatever language you say to yourself, it's just it's like affirmed, right? It's true. So if you believe that, that is what you're gonna see. But that's not the truth, though. Make
Mhm.
sense?
Right, that
Uh,
makes
uh,
sense.
yeah. So right now, how old are you, by the way, Jonathan?
Just turned 27.
Okay, so you're 27 years old. You're doing Grubhub and also DoorDash. You're trying to do real estate, but you're having a tough time, maybe because you lack certain skills. Sounds good?
Okay.
Okay. And now you're asking, well, Tommy, I'm trying to make extra money on the side, right? So usually the answer to this is basically whenever you're trying to find like a career, for example, you got to look for three things. It's something that you're good at, something that you actually like doing, and lastly, something that's going to make you money. So, for example, real estate could be that for you. Maybe you like doing it, maybe you're good at it, maybe it can make you a lot of money. But for some people, they might like it, they might not be good at it, thus, they won't make any money from it. So, the best outlook I can see when it comes to real estate, especially for you, is, for example, how many books have you read so far in sales?
Only two actually,
Okay.
because my mentor gave me two books to read, and I read them.
Yeah, I mean, you're 27 years old. How old is your mentor?
My mentor, I think he's about 38, 39.
Okay. How much money does he make?
He makes well over 100,000 a year.
And that's what you want to have?
Yes.
Okay. Now, how often do you meet with your mentor?
We meet about twice a week.
Okay. And what does he say your problem is? Or does he just say the market is bad?
Well, he just said I just have to keep marketing on Facebook and just all social media and everything, and just trying to
Yeah.
reach out to my circle of influence.
Okay. It doesn't matter though. I mean, you can market all you want and do everything you want, but if your sales pitch is bad, if you're not able to connect with people and trying to sell them a house and just like no sales overall in negotiations, it's just not going to work. Right? So
Right.
my advice would
Right.
be this, right? The best thing about books is basically, and also like online, is that you can have Graham Stephan, or for example, Dave Ramsey, or for example, Meet Kevin as your real estate mentors, right? You might not talk to them one on one, but they'll teach you everything they know. And they also have like their different
Hmm.
courses and programs and their own different books to actually help you with that whole process. So although, for example, you might have a mentor, they're exactly where you want to be, maybe making like $100,000. But sometimes some people are great at doing something, but doesn't mean, for example, they might be great mentors. I'm not saying your mentor is
Hmm.
trash because I don't know him that well. It's the first time I talk to you. But my advice would be, for example, if I want to do real estate, I'm not gonna go to the person that's like doing it on a small level that's right next to me. Maybe I'll work on that person to learn from them also. But I'm gonna be learning also from people like, you know, I don't like Grant Cardone that much, but Grant Cardone is pretty good at real estate too. He has some pretty good stuff in that stuff. And there's like just like a vast amount of knowledge and books out there. So instead of just doing, for example, Grubhub and DoorDash, if I do that for 8 hours a day, fine. I'll dedicate the other 6 hours of my waking hours just to study real estate, to study sales, to study marketing, to become the best real estate agent possible. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so that's what I would be doing. And if you're 27 years old, you're still pretty young, which is awesome, which is a great opportunity, but you gotta stop being complacent. Because complacency is the action of you're okay with doing the Grubhub and the DoorDash. However, you do know for a fact that what you're doing in real estate is not giving you results because it doesn't lie, right? Because it's commission based. You don't do the right thing, you don't make any money. So it's important that you go over there and you kind of educate yourself on the art of selling. And you got to find out who the people are, for example, in your area that are doing 10 times better than you are, while you're saying that it's not possible because your clientele is being beat out by investors. Although they have the same clientele, but they're actually making sales. Make sense?
Makes sense.
That's what you got to do, bro. And then, for example, if you want, like, what's your current living situation? Like, are you living by yourself? Your mom? What's going on?
Well, I live in an apartment with my girlfriend.
Okay. So, okay, fine.
And we have I had money saved up already, so I was able to pay the rent way ahead of time. So we're pretty much paid through for the year.
Okay, so you're paid. Okay, what that lets me know a little bit of that you have an insecurity when it comes to money. Just a little bit. Because if you
insecurity, but I was just making sure everything's paid for.
Yeah, that's a little insecurity, right? So just to make, because what you should have. You have an emergency fund.
Well, kind of use that just to pay all that.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Just to make sure we was good. Yeah.
It's you see that how the part of insecurity comes into play because you're unsecure of what your financial situation is going to be tomorrow. So you did that first. So usually what you want to do is, and it's not a bad thing, by the way. I suffer from the same exact thing. Like I offered to pay my rent early about yesterday. So just because you have the answer doesn't mean you have a cure to it. But the whole idea is that you want to build an emergency account with 3 to 6 months in there, just in case anything wrong happens. But the idea is not to go over there and pay your rent for the whole year or whatever, because if you do need that money for you break a leg, your girlfriend breaks a leg or whatever happens, you're going to need that money and then you're going to be in trouble, right? That's the whole idea behind that.
Yeah.
All right. So look, let's I just really wanted to tell you that just so you can be on the same page here and we can be honest about everything. But as far as, for example, real estate, do you actually like it or do you not like it?
No, I love real estate. I'm just trying to get sales. That's the main problem. So far, I sold 2 houses since being in the real estate game.
How long have you been in it for?
Since February.
Since February. Okay, awesome. So you're a new agent. Are you also focusing on rentals?
No, I wasn't really focused on rentals. My mentor told me not to focus on that because he said it wasn't no money into it.
Okay, so is real estate a repeat business, or is it, for example, a one-time business, or is it a referral business? Exactly? Well, that means, for example, if I sell you a product, am I gonna sell you another product like pretty soon, or are you gonna refer me to somebody else? What's gonna happen?
Oh, I mean, it's a repeat business basically because they can refer you or they'll come back and buy another house with you type of thing. So what do renters eventually become? Homeowners.
Exactly. So what would it be, for example, if maybe you spend extra time on them, you don't get paid as much money, but what would that be considered when you do something ahead of time to expect something at the end? So it's called an investment, right?
So yeah, definitely.
And that's not my opinion. That's what Graham Stephan did initially. When he first got started in real estate, he was pretty young also. And what he did was basically he got into rentals. And then eventually those rental people became homeowners, right? And then when they wanted to buy a prop, even for me, for example, the person that actually got me this property where I'm actually living right now as a renter is also a real estate agent. And was like, when you need a house, you better call me. And I was like, I'm definitely going to call you, right? It's just a referral-based thing, right? So it's about, don't be afraid. And this is why I say having a mentor is great, but having one opinion is terrible because just every person is flawed. So that's why I say you got to go out there and you gotta fully comprehend what you're trying to get yourself into and learn from every single person, the best in the business, right? Through their books, through their courses, through whatever they actually offer. Try to like exploit all the free avenues first, because you might not have that much money right now because your current situation, which is fine, but exploit every free option. Like the books are pretty cheap, 15 bucks, $10. Read all those books. And then you get all that information, you get different opinions, and that's what you want. The idea is you don't want anybody to tell you what to do. You want to learn and then make your own decisions, because your mentor is not going to pay your rent. You are, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's the whole idea, man.
Nah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense, man. I hear what you're saying with that.
Okay, so
I'm trying to grow in the business, so. Oh, no, go ahead.
You trying to do what?
I was just saying I was just trying to grow in the business, grow into it.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday I went to this very expensive area to buy me a sofa for cheap. And I was like, why is this person selling this sofa for so cheap when it's worth like $2,000? It was like a real estate agent, you know, and he was like, my clients are gonna be moving out of here, and it was a rental also, and those rental go for $2,800 per month. So what I'm telling you is basically there's opportunity everywhere. Everywhere. When you are this new into a business, it's kind of like when you go into a building and they say, it's like the old saying of you got to be willing to clean the toilets initially because you're just getting started and you want to know about everything. It's the same thing here. Exploit everything. I understand what your mentor is saying. He's talking about the 80-20 rule, where you focus on what gives you the best results. But when you are who you are right now, which is just getting started, it's okay to focus on the other things too. So you can just get like the whole concept of everything and make those little investments now, which will result, for example, in sales later on.
Okay.
Now, what other skills do you have?
Well, I've done property management for 5-6 years.
Okay.
Well, multi-property family. So,
how much money were you getting paid for that?
I was getting paid $19 an hour.
And why do you stop that job?
Well, I moved up here to Charlotte.
Okay.
So
do they have those jobs available in your area?
Yeah, well, I'm applying to them now. Haven't got accepted yet, but when I first initially came to Charlotte, my plan was just to go hard into real estate, and it really didn't pan out like I thought it was going to. So
often that's how life is, man. It's a part of the game. I mean, one thing I'll tell you this, man. You have job insecurity, and you also have money insecurity, which is something that a lot of us have, which basically means you're afraid because you don't really know what's going to happen if you can't pay the rent or anything like that. So that's why you paid ahead of time. So what you need is like a safety net, right? And what I wouldn't recommend is you spend your time, for example, doing Uber Eats and DoorDash. I recommend, for example, you try to get anywhere, somewhere when it comes to real estate. If it can be to property management, into anything with real estate, honestly, just to get like a fixed pay, right? So that way you have security. You're like, okay, I know for a fact I'm going to get paid this money. And the thing about real estate is usually that everyone that's trying to buy real estate usually has, for example, a day job. So while you're working, for example, your day job, the 9 to 5, well, your clients are leaving from 5 to like 9. You can actually make your appointments or whatever, because that's when they're actually free to make those appointments, just like you are. So you're able to kind of get like a full-time job and not have to be doing this whole Grubhub and DoorDash stuff. It's cool when you're getting first started off, but you're 27 years old, you have experience in the whole thing, so you should be able to actually just go ahead and work, for example, like a full-time job. And then with that full-time job, with that money, you build up your emergency fund. So that way you have, for example, security in yourself and also your money. Let me ask you a question. Do you have any debt?
Do I have any what now?
Any debt?
Oh, yes. I have some student loans.
Okay. What did you study?
And that's really it.
What did you study?
Business management.
4 years? 4 years?
Yes.
Okay. How much money do you owe?
About $20,000.
Any credit cards? Car loans?
No credit cards, no car loans. Well, I paid off my credit card last year, so.
Awesome. Yeah. I mean, if you follow the steps that I lay out, it's how much cash do you have on hand, by the way? Like on hand? How much cash do you have on hand?
I have like $1,500.
Okay, awesome. So what I would do is, If I had $1,500, I would probably use that right there for like a mini emergency fund in case anything does go wrong. The good thing is that basically your rent is covered for the rest of the year, so that's awesome. And just focus on basically getting a new job, like a full-time job, and then using that cash to like pay off the debt. And then eventually build like a full-blown emergency account, and then so on and so on. And then just keep growing, bro. All right? And it's just knowledge. So you gotta get the knowledge.
Okay.
You gotta learn from people that are better than you. You're gonna find those people in the books, and then when you find those people, you'll find the best thing ever is reading a book and seeing, for example, that other people that are very successful shared the same adversity that you did, because everyone starts from the same place. That place is zero. Sounds good?
That's true. That's true. It sounds good. It sounds good.
Yeah, but you got it, brother. Don't. And by the way, if I seem a little rough or whatever, it's because I really want you to understand this, okay? That you shouldn't have
Nah,
don't
you're
make
good, bro.
don't make
I understand
excuses
that.
or anything crazy, because whatever. It's like advertising, right? Advertising is a billion-dollar industry because it works. So the advertising, you tell it to yourself whenever you talk to yourself over and over again, oh, I can't sell a house because the market is bad. This is bad. This is bad. Whatever. It's just gonna keep like it's like a circle, right, of negativity, and then that's not what you want. Make sense?
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
All right, brother. Any more questions?
I think that's everything, bro.
All right, bro. Well, these calls are not like a one-time thing, so if you do want to call back and schedule a call once things get settled down and you kind of like get the full-time job and all this stuff, it'll be great to talk to you again, man. See how your progress you're actually making. Okay. Welcome to the long-term team, man.
You taking the time.
All right, brother. Appreciate you. Peace out. All right, guys, so right there, that was actually Jonathan, and you see this a lot. For example, people have job insecurity, money insecurities, and people also have the idea that, kind of like against like a full-time job. So they're kind of like, oh, you know what, I'm going to do Uber Eats or DoorDash and do like these very minimal jobs that are, they don't really pay that much money. I'm just being honest here. If you do that, that's fine. But that's not really a career because it's very unsustainable. Sometimes you might get a lot of jobs or whatever, especially like on the weekends here and there, but it's not really sustainable because you don't really know what's going on. All right. You don't really know what's going on here. So my advice here would just be, hey, take things step by step and don't just learn from one person, but learn from a multitude of persons, all right? Or people, not persons. When I first tried to get into finance and money and all this stuff, guess what I did? I bought a bunch of books, right? And I started learning from everyone that came before me. And that's the only reason I am who I am. But one thing I found out is basically you cannot pick favorites when it comes to mentors. The whole idea of a mentee and a mentor is very destructive in a sense, because initially, right, you have a mentee, person getting mentored, and the mentored. Eventually, for example, the mentee surpasses the mentor, and then there's nothing else to learn there, And if you stay under that person, guess what happens? It's basically you're not gonna keep growing. So you gotta go from that person to the next person to the next person to the next person. Just keep learning and become a learning machine. If all of you read, for example, is 2 books in a billion-dollar industry with thousands of books, it's not that good. Right? You got to read all those books. You got to take all those courses. You got to go out there and take all those jobs. Every opportunity to talk about real estate or talk about a rental or just practice the way you speak and carry yourself is just going to be amazing. And since real estate, for example, you have the average person buying properties. Usually, they're going to look at properties after 5 p.m., right? Because that's where they actually get out of work. So you can have basically like a full-time job to cover your bills and to make sure everything is fine while you build up this business also after 5 p.m. That is the cool thing about real estate. I forgot to mention also the girlfriend situation. Have these things, relationships with a purpose. So I have this girlfriend. Is this going to lead to marriage? And the thing is, I say this because basically, imagine if he's basing his income and also like his expenses with this girl, not married to obviously, and then before you know it, maybe they split up, God forbid. Now, what is he going to do as far as his money? That's why you have to be very intentional about the relationship that you actually take on. Guys, I'm so hot in this room, basically. I don't know what to tell you, okay? That's why I'm kind of like I'm stumbling here and there. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Welcome to the long-term team of the new people here. On top of that, also, if you want to call me directly, well, join me right here. Link is down below to schedule a call today. On top of that, also, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified. On top of that, follow me on Instagram, Tiny Bryson. And if you guys want to watch more content like this, here is another video right here. And click my face right here. And as always, peace.